Hi, welcome to this video by Creating a Family. I'm Dawn Davenport. I'm the director of Creating a Family, and we're a nonprofit providing education and resources on infertility and adoption. Today we're going to be talking about adopting from Africa. I think it helps when we're talking about adopting from any country, but in particular Africa, given some of the recent news we've been hearing. I think it helps to start with a definition of what we mean when we say orphan. There's a misconception out there that U.S. law requires a child to have no living parents to be an orphan, and that's not the case. A child can have no living parents, or one living parent, or two living parents, and still meet the U.S. definition of orphan. The key here, however, is that the parents have, if there is a parent living, that the parents have an understanding of what it means to be adopted, and that the parental rights will be terminated. So now that we've got that cleared up, let's talk about some of the common reasons in different African countries for children to end up in either state care, or more often in Africa the orphanages are run by non-governmental organizations. So, but anyway, for a child to end up in some form of a child welfare institution. By and large, the most common reason in any African country is poverty. Now, poverty is a relative term, but in all countries there are children whose parents believe that they cannot raise them, cannot afford to raise them, and they relinquish their rights or abandon the children. Another reason in various African countries might be disease. HIV and malaria are rampant throughout much of Africa, and is the cause for children to end up in child welfare institutions. And of course we've got some of the other reasons, dysfunction, family dysfunctions in general, that can be found throughout the world. How to get information on what African countries have active international adoption programs. Ethiopia, by and far, has the largest international adoption program of any African country. To get information on Ethiopia, the best place, if I do say so myself, is the creatingafamily.org site. We have comparison charts with the 25 factors parents should consider before selecting a country. That we compare various countries throughout the world, but we only do it with the larger placing countries, and the only country in Africa that we have a chart on is Ethiopia. So you can look there for Ethiopia. For other African countries that don't place so many children, the best place to find accurate information is the State Department website. And I'm going to read that off to you so that you can access it. It is let's see, adoption.state.gov/country information, all one word, country information, .html. And you do have to put the .html or you won't get to the correct site. Once there, you simply type in the country's name and you'll get the most accurate information out there on adopting from that country. And another way to do it would be to try to find an agency that has an active program in a country. And there's a number of ways to find agencies, but my two favorite ways are to go to the JCICS website, and that's jcics.org. And the other website that I like is the rainbowkids.com website. Both of those have the ability for you to look up agencies that have programs in different African countries, and you can go to that website or contact the agency to get up-to-date information about adopting from that particular African country. Let's talk a little bit about Ethiopia, since that is the largest placer in Africa. Ethiopia has, in the year 2009, adopted more strenuous abandonment rules. There's some concern that that will slow down adoptions, and it likely will have some impact. However, the abandonment rules primarily are requiring birth mothers to appear in court. That's the primary impact of those rules, to make certain that birth parents have a better understanding of what it means when they place their child for adoption. Everyone seems to expect that in the future there will be a greater focus on finding homes for special needs children in Ethiopia, and I think that that probably will come to pass, although at this point it looks like young, healthy children will continue to be placed as well. I get a lot of questions from singles asking me about rumors that Ethiopia is going to close to singles. At this point in time, although you can never rule anything out, at this point in time, it does not look like Ethiopia is planning on doing that. Some agencies report that they have a limit of either the percentage or the actual number of single applicants that can make up their pool of dossiers that they are submitting to Ethiopia, but other agencies don't have this at all. It is just hard to get uniformity because it depends on, in Ethiopia, who you're talking with. Your best bet is to contact a number of agencies, in particular those that have large programs in Ethiopia. We also get questions at Creating a Family from people who are either living in Africa or planning on moving there and working for a time being, and asking if it's possible to adopt. And the answer is yes, it is. It's somewhat more complicated if you're working through a U.S. agency. In particular, the complicating aspect can be getting a home study. It pays to do your homework before you leave this country. If you think that's a possibility, then contact some agencies before you go over and find out what the requirements will be. It could also, however, work to your advantage to be living in the country, because certain African countries have a residency requirement of anywhere from 6 months to 1 year, 2 years, something like that, which if you're not working in the country, it's very difficult to adopt from that country. So the answer is yes, it certainly can be done. You just need to do your homework up front. And I'd like to end with talking about what I usually end adoption shows talking about, and that is special needs adoptions. All African countries that are doing much international adoption have a need for families to adopt special needs kids. And the number one special needs in Africa particularly is age. It is hard to find homes for older children, and by older, in Africa, what we mean is for little boys over the age of 6 and for girls anywhere between the ages of 6 and 8, generally speaking. There's also a need for sibling groups, and there's a need for families to adopt HIV-positive kids. To get more information about adopting from Africa, please tune in to the September 2009 Creating a Family radio show on Adopting from Africa. Thanks for joining us today.